This week on Americana Outdoors, we're packing our bags and crossing oceans to make a return trip we've been dreaming about for years. We're going to Africa. Ever since our last visit to South Africa in 2019, we wanted to turn right back around and do it all over again. But due to the COVID-19 pandemic, that dream has been stuck in a holding pattern. With the world finally opening back up, we jumped at the chance to go on a trip of a lifetime with John X Safaris. However, the first part of the adventure is getting there.
You know, when you plan your trips and you prepare for them, you can't prepare for everything. There's always going to be some things that happen while you're traveling internationally. They're going to slow you down. For instance, our trip, our plane got delayed. We got on board, then it got canceled. We got sent to our hotels, and we got back to the airport in the middle of the night, and eventually they just canceled the entire flight. And we ended up sleeping on the floor in Atlanta, but you know, I understand that in international travel, those things can happen. You can't let it sour your trip. So, you know, after we got through there, we got on our plane to Johannesburg. We actually got to Johannesburg and were able to catch our connecting flight down to Port Elizabeth and landed on our exact scheduled time. So despite one rough night in the airport, we were back on schedule and really traveling all the way to get to our destination here to hunt with the team at John X. As you get checked in and you meet the staff, you kind of, you know, get acclimated, and as tired as you are, you're really excited to get out into the field. So, you know, the next steps for me anytime I travel is you got to check your gear. Well, we have finally arrived, and I say finally with a little giggle in my voice because it took us a while to get here on this trip. We're in South Africa here with John X Safaris. We are excited to be here. We're getting ready now to start building all of our gear for what's going to be a pretty epic, pretty fun little adventure here over the next few days. We're going to fish, we're going to hunt, we're going to hunt with our bow, we're going to hunt with a rifle, we're going to go fish for species of fish that I have no clue what they are, but they say it's some of the prettiest backdrop and scenery that we could ever imagine. And you can see the backdrop here, what we're looking at. It's just absolutely gorgeous out across here. And this is a game-rich, target-rich environment. So if you like to hunt, this is definitely an adventure to think about going on. You know, traveling with your gear anywhere, I don't care if you're just going to your local deer lease or you're traveling across the world like we did here, is you know, taking preparations for all of it's really key. And for me, what I like to do is, you know, I pack a lot of extra things around my bow case and around everything in here, extra visor, so that gives it as much padding as it possibly can. And then once you get anywhere, shooting your rifle, shooting your handgun, shooting your crossbow, shooting your compound bow is the next step, because it's going to get bounced around in your truck by the airlines, whatever it may be, and you want to make sure it's shooting where it's supposed to before you go.
For this trip, Wade arrived with his bow in tow, but decided to forego packing his rifle. Here's his reasoning and how he was able to travel a little lighter, but still hunt with top-tier gear.
Since I didn't choose to travel with a rifle this year to make travel a little bit easier, I traveled with the Triton scope and several different items to be able to remount that scope on one of John X's rifles that any hunter can rent, which makes it easy. And in this case, I actually had chosen to hunt with an old school 300 Win Mag. And I mean, that's a caliber that I absolutely love. And to hunt some of these big animals that I'm going to be targeting this week, I want as much power as I possibly can. But it didn't take long to get all that dialed in, got everything sighted in down on the range. They've got a great range to go through the paces, whether you bring your own gun or you're getting acclimated with one of theirs. And then after we were done with all of that, it's kind of time and ready to just settle in and wait for that first hunt.